Try to relax your body and get ready to dive into a captivating story that will help you imagine, dream, and fall into a deep, peaceful sleep. Once there was a little ginger cat named Lucky. His fur glowed like the evening sun, and his green eyes sparkled like spring grass after the rain. Lucky lived in a cozy yard beside an old cottage that always smelled of mint and freshly baked bread. People loved him, petted him, and often brought him a bowl of milk. In return, he purred so softly that even the wind outside the gate would quiet down, afraid to break the peace. Yet, despite his calm and pleasant life, something stirred deep inside Lucky's heart. A quiet feeling that somewhere beyond the familiar yard there was something more, not just comfort, not just sunshine and a warm blanket, but something deeper, happiness. And he wanted to understand what that truly meant. One misty morning, as dew still clung to the grass, Lucky stepped through the gate. The earth beneath his paws felt cool, and the world ahead seemed vast and alive. The air itself smelled of adventure. He walked across golden fields where the wheat bent in the wind like waves of an unseen sea. The stalks whispered softly, and far above, larks sang their high, cheerful songs. Lucky stopped, breathing in the scent of ripe grain, feeling the sun on his back. Maybe this is happiness, he thought. Warmth, freedom, space to run wherever you want. But deep inside, a faint voice told him there was more. His path led him into a forest. It smelled of moss and distant campfire smoke. Beneath the tall trees, the world was different. Green, peaceful, slow. Lucky watched a squirrel leaping from branch to branch, a hedgehog rolling an apple toward its den, and an old owl resting silently in the shadows. All of them moved with calm purpose, in harmony with the forest. Lucky watched them and thought that perhaps happiness was when everything was in its right place, when you were part of something greater, and peace surrounded you. He curled up in soft moss and drifted into sleep. Under the whisper of leaves, he dreamed of shimmering water and gentle laughter. But when he woke, he knew the forest wasn't the end of his journey. Something still called him onward. He wandered into blooming orchards next there, among the apple and cherry trees. Summer reigned. The air smelled of honey and sunlight. Bees hummed lazily, and children's laughter floated through the branches. Lucky padded between trees, brushed against fallen apples, and watched them drop into the grass with a soft thud. Maybe happiness is when the world shares its gifts with you, he thought, when you live simply and receive what you need just because you exist. But even amid this beauty, he felt a quiet emptiness, like a shadow on a bright day. So he kept walking toward the horizon where the sky melted into the earth. Along the way, Lucky met many animals, a little rabbit who feared the thunderstorm, and Lucky stayed by him until it passed. A gray wolf, searching for his lost pack. Lucky showed him the trail marked with familiar scents. A young hare learning to leap over a brook, and a slow, wise turtle crawling toward the river. Each new meeting filled Lucky's heart with warmth, and he began to realize that the more kindness he gave, the fuller his heart became. Days passed, and his journey continued. He saw sunsets that turned the sky to gold and rose, moments when the world seemed to hold its breath in wonder. He watched the sun sink beyond the horizon and felt that perhaps the entire universe whispered a gentle thank you before falling asleep, and every morning he awoke to birdsong, pure, joyful, alive. Those mornings felt sacred, full of freshness, hope, and light. The birds sang of life continuing, of new beginnings, of how every day is a gift. Even a small cat like Lucky had his own place in that song. Yeah, one day he reached the mountains. The air there was thin and clear, the silence deep. Time itself seemed to slow. Lucky sat on a rock and looked down at the valley, where rivers shimmered like silver threads. For the first time, he felt a strange peace, as if nothing needed to be achieved, only experienced. Yet a soft pull inside told him his path wasn't finished. He walked on, through the rain, across hills, through quiet nights and bright dawns. He saw rainbows stretch across the sky and rivers hum beneath bridges. He felt the chill of night and the first warm kiss of sunrise. Slowly, he began to understand. Happiness isn't hidden far away. It lives in fleeting moments, in a breath, in a dewdrop, in the simple joy of being alive. At last, after a long journey, Lucky reached the sea. He had never seen such vastness. The water stretched endlessly, embracing the horizon. The waves rolled gently onto the shore, and the wind carried the scent of salt. The sand beneath his paws was soft and warm. Lucky sat on the edge of the shore. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of copper and amber. The waves whispered and retreated, leaving trails that faded under new ones. He gazed at the sea for a long time. He remembered every friend he'd met, every field and forest, every sunrise and sunset. He remembered the kindness he'd shared, the beauty he'd seen, and the quiet strength that had grown inside him. And suddenly, he understood. Happiness wasn't waiting somewhere at the end of the road. It wasn't in wonders or adventures or distant lands. Happiness had always lived within him, in his ability to see beauty, to feel the wind, to listen to the world's gentle song. It was in his open heart, in his courage to wander, and in his peace to stop. He closed his eyes, let the warm air brush his face, and for the first time in his long journey, felt completely still. He didn't need to go anywhere anymore. The sea breathed beside him, the sky glowed above, the earth held him steady, and all three whispered together, "You are home." And from that day on, Lucky no longer searched for happiness. He simply lived it. In every breath, in every sunrise, in every quiet moment, when the world and his heart beat as one.